Meantime, the NYPD is on high alert as the indictment of former President Trump looms. Barricades are set up at locations in Manhattan to prepare for potential protests. Now, it's still unclear when or if charges will be announced against the former president.
Yeah, although the former president predicted that he would be arrested today, reports indicate that if it does happen. Go ahead.
It could be next week. And we are joined now by Dick Morris with his thoughts. Dick, great to be with you as always, or to have you with us. Your take, is this indictment going to happen, or is this a whole lot of nothing?
Well, what happened, just an insight into the legal process, is that it is not a crime for Trump to have an affair with Stormy Daniels, not a crime to pay hush money, not a crime to have a non-disclosure agreement. The only crime is if the non-disclosure agreement was designed to cover up another crime, then that becomes a felony. And if not, it's just a misdemeanor. That's more than 2 years since it happened. The statute of limitations lapsed and everybody goes home. But if Bragg says that this was done in commission of another crime, then he has the basis to indict and to try Trump. Now, Costello, who was Cohen's lawyer, back when Cohen and Trump were okay with each other, said that Cohen told him that he did this hush money stuff on his own, that he wanted to kind of make a present of this to Donald and get him out of jeopardy, and he knew Trump would reimburse him, and that this not only wasn't to conceal another crime, it wasn't even on Trump's instructions. And he told the grand jury that yesterday, and they were on a glide path to indict Trump. But then when he said that, they had to hold up and recalculate. And whether the recalculation will result in their not indicting Trump or just delaying it for a few days or a week, we just don't know.
Do you think that the former president actually does want a scene? Because he had seemed to encourage people to get out there on his behalf. Wanted to get your thoughts on that, because I know you talk to him frequently. Does he want to create a scene where there are people out there on his behalf, or does he want to step back from that?
Please disregard my phone. No, he absolutely does not. There was a moment when it turned out that he would be indicted and arrested, when he reacted emotionally and had a tweet that said, protest, protest, protest. But since then, he hasn't said any of that. And he knows that this is going to work to his benefit. This is going to sink the Democrats in their own juice. And he knows that if there is any protest, and then the left sends in agitators to make it violent, which they can do easily, that could backfire and give the Democrats talking points. I was on my radio show the other day, and a woman called in and said, I'm just going to go out my doors and stand peacefully on the corner with a sign. I said, for God's sakes, don't do that. You'll be peaceful. But then a car shows up with 4 thugs, and they get out and they take your sign, they yell at you, and other people gather, and before you know it, there's been a violent confrontation, and nobody's going to sort out who's at fault. So Trump really wants everybody to stay home and not to come out and do this, because we've got huge political gains coming from this stupid indictment, particularly if it's dismissed, which it certainly will be, either at trial or when the judge gets a hold of it. And to go ahead and queer that and screw that up by having a riot or a demonstration so the Democrats can talk on endlessly about January 6th would be just terrible. It would mean that Trump's sacrifice was in vain. So I want to plead with all of your viewers, do not protest. Protest over the dining room table or the kitchen table, but don't go outside, don't go out with a sign. Just trust us, we're going to win this damn election. We're going to replace Joe Biden with Donald Trump. Let the electoral process do what it's going to do, which has been heavily facilitated by Alvin Bragg's outrageous indictment.
Yeah, Dick, that's a great point. I mean, let your voice be heard in the ballot box when you vote, or even on social media if you have to say something now. But I appreciate your insight there. And as Bob pointed out, you do speak to the former president on a regular basis. How is he feeling? Because it does seem like this is a man who has been tried to be pushed out of office before he was even inaugurated. And all of these attacks, he describes them as a witch hunt. They continue. So how is his morale, I'm going to say, at this time?
Sometimes he feels battered because he obviously is, but that passes quickly. He basically feels empowered and enabled. He feels that the negatives are fuel for him. They charge his batteries. They get him moving. He first says, "Oh my God, look at how horrible this is. We've become a banana republic. We're not a democracy anymore. This isn't the country that I was president of. Oh my God, what's happening?" And then 5 minutes later, he's saying, "These SOBs are doing this to me. They'll do it to anybody. They can destroy this country, and I'm not going to let them do it." And he gets energized, and he really goes at it. So it's a human reaction, but eventually it becomes a very strengthening one. He will emerge in this process psychologically and politically much stronger.
All right. Dick Morris, thank you so much.
Thank you.